everybody. Welcome. Happy Thursday. Would love to see your beautiful faces if you have the ability to turn your camera on, as long as you have clothes. That's important. Very excited for today's topic. All very actionable items that you can put into place immediately to help you just not have a slow summer, right? A lot of people claim that it's the summer slowdown, and there are definite things that we can do to ensure that that doesn't occur. So I'm going to give it about 60 seconds, and then we will dive in. You're definitely going to want to have some form of a note-taking device. There we go, Mr. Garcia. I love it. There's something very magical that happens when pen or Apple Pen goes to paper or iPad. Don't trust your brain. You know, maybe 20, 30 years ago, you could trust your brain, but today, with all of the notifications that we are constantly getting interrupted with, you gotta write it down. So as you guys are hopping on, turn those cameras on. This is going to be an interactive session. If you've ever been on any of my webinars, I ask you to get in the chat. Obviously, if you're driving, don't do that aspect. But do me a favor, type in the chat, where are you from right now? I'm in Tampa, so I'll lead the way. Tampa, Florida. Let's see maybe who's the furthest from Tampa. Let me know where you guys are coming from. Ooh, we got the Dojo Karate Schools on. Hello, hello. All right. Georgia, Michigan, Calgary. All right. Very cool. I'm actually going to Canada in 2 weeks. I'm going to Kelowna, which is on the complete West Coast. Really excited for that. LA. All right. Very good. Michigan, Minnesota. Awesome. Texas. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you getting in the chat. So there are some people that absolutely love summer because it is very high revenue, and it's typically because they are offering some form of summer camp. Now, I've been there. I've done that. I started with just doing like 1 week of summer camp, and then 2 weeks of summer camp, and then 3. And then you got parents asking like, hey, we need, camp for the entire summer. So I did that. And at its peak, I think one summer, the most campers we had was about 120 campers. And look, I'm not here to knock it. What I am here to say is when I first opened my school, summer camp and after school wasn't in like the dream. That wasn't in the vision, because when you have kids on campus for 8 or 9 hours, you can't really just do martial arts all day. And a lot of it ends up becoming babysitting. And we did it for many years. We made a lot of revenue. And the thing that you got to be careful with summer camps and after school is you can make a lot of revenue, but revenue is not what matters. It's profit. It's what you keep. So what we're going to be going over today really has nothing to do with summer camps. For those of you that are maybe in that, group of people that don't want to offer all day, all summer camps, well, what can we do specifically, during the summer to help us increase the enrollments and the revenue in our school so it's not slow? So I'd love to know in the chat, are you slow or are you busy right now with it being officially summer? Let me know in the chat, slow or busy. And there's no judging here. We're all here to learn. This is just going to really let me know where everybody is. I see a lot of busy. I love that. Okay. Very good. So what we're really going to be honing in on is what I consider the low-hanging fruit, right? There's a lot that we can do in our business, but what are like maybe the 1, 2, or 3 items that doesn't require a lot of input so we can get maximum output? And that's what we're going to unpack. So let me go ahead, share my screen. Shout out to Miss Faith, did her first push-up today. She's had like multiple shoulder surgeries. And man, getting the first push-up in, great job. Love seeing that. Okay, let me go ahead and share my keynote. And as you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll do the best job that I can to get to them. And low effort, high impact, low effort, high impact, 10 simple strategies to do right now, increase enrollments and revenue. I see a lot of familiar faces. I also see some newer faces. So just real quick about me and who I am. I'm a lifelong martial artist, started at a Junri Institute of Taekwondo when I was 8 years old, and then fell in love with jujitsu in my teenage years. I opened up a school called Gracie Pack MMA, a BJJ and MMA academy in Tampa, Florida, that I founded 11 years ago and that I just sold in January of this year because my side hustle of GrowPro got so big that it needed to be the main focus. So at GrowPro Agency, we help martial arts schools enroll more members. And ultimately, what we want to do is give you more freedom to do what you love, because more than likely running Facebook ads and Google ads and doing social media management isn't on the list of things you absolutely love. We are currently serving over 460 martial arts schools all over the United States. And today, our 33rd employee just started. And our business model is a little bit different than a lot of the other agencies out there. We're US based and in office. So all of my employees, all my team members actually come in office. And we spend a lot of money on Facebook ads. Over $300,000 a month is spent on Facebook ads. And when you're dealing with that kind of level of budget, you get a lot of data. And that data allows us to make better decisions in our schools. And it allows us to coach and consult school owners just like you. Okay. So that's a little bit about me. My mission, 10 simple strategies. What I don't want you to do is get overwhelmed. Like, oh my gosh, Chris gave me these 10 things that I got to do. I'm giving you a menu of items, and what you need to focus on is choosing the strategy that's going to help you solve a problem right now. Okay. One of the greatest things that a mentor taught me is, you see people making a lot of like book recommendations, right? And I think we all know that we should be lifelong learners and we should read books, but how do you know what book to read? And I would, if somebody made a recommendation, I was like, all right, let me go ahead and read it. And what I shifted to doing instead is reading books to actually solve a problem that I'm having right now. And that's how I want you to pick the strategy to focus on, is pick the one that's going to help you solve a problem that you're having right now. Okay. So our agenda, we're going to talk about one email and one text that you can send. You can set this up today. It would take less than 5 minutes. That will absolutely flood your appointment calendar. We're going to talk about 1 hour a day that will keep bankruptcy away. I just thought that was kind of a cute jingle, but 1 hour, if you did this every single day, I know your mat would be absolutely flooded. And I would say maybe less than 1% of schools are doing this. We're going to talk about the fastest way to hit triple-digit reviews, because this is what's going to move the needle so you rank higher on Google. And I want you guys to think about the prospects that are searching for martial arts in your area on Google. Those are your hottest digital marketing leads. So I'm going to show you how you can very, very quickly ramp up your Google reviews. We'll go over a creative way to boost revenue that literally takes 5 minutes to set up on Canva. Like, hopefully you guys are, leveling up your own personal skill sets. Canva is a great tool. If you use Canva currently in your school, put Canva in the chat. Let me just see how many of you are leveraging this free platform. That's another thing. It is free. All right. So quite a few of you. Awesome. So 5 minutes on Canva to set this up, and then 2 hours to add $2,000 to your bottom line. This is one of my absolute favorite events that we do that really is highly profitable. I'm going to talk about the Alumni Challenge. Really excited. I don't think I've ever shared this one before. And 45 minutes to increase student and lifetime value. We'll go over 4 steps to building a brand ambassador program to increase your referrals. I think we'd all agree, if there's any type of lead that we'd like to have, it's a referral lead. Those are the absolute best leads that are out there. We'll talk about the deal of the day blueprint and how to double your revenue in 1 month. And that is not like some spammy, TikTok hook to get you to watch the video. Like, you could literally do this. I've seen this done over and over and over again with our clients at Maya. So let's be present. Please ask questions, participate, take action, get in that chat, and have fun. There are really only 3 ways for you to grow your school. And this is really to grow any business. It's to get more students, to increase client value, and reduce churn. I mean, if we had to like break down how can we be successful in our business, we got to get more clients. We got to get those clients to pay us more. And we got to get those clients to pay us more often, which if they quit, they can't pay us more often. And these 10 strategies that we will be going over are going to fit in one or more of these buckets for you. Okay. So number 1. Whoa, I went all the way to the back. My bad. Here we go. Let's try this again. Okay. I've talked about this many times. It is not a concept that comes from the martial arts industry. The guy that put this on the map, his name is Dean Jackson. He is a world-class marketer, and it's called the magic 9-word email. And even though that I've trained and coached school owners on doing this, every time I bring it up, they're like, oh man, I haven't done that in a while. So if it has been more than 3 months since you've sent what I call the magic 9-word email, absolutely this should be on your action list. Because how long do you think it would take for you to set up and send an email to your current contact list in your CRM? How many minutes, or maybe you think it would take hours? Let me know in the chat. How long would it take for you to send one email to everybody on that list? Do you think it'd take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? Let me know in the chat how long you think that would take. Somebody play along with me, please. All right. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. All right, cool, right? So I think if it's something that only takes 5 to 10 minutes, this would be considered a low effort strategy. Now, what I don't want you to do is overthink this. You don't need any fancy graphics. You don't need email headers. You don't need templates. You don't need to bold fonts. All it needs to do in the subject line is have the contact's name. And you can pull that in with what is called merge tags. Every CRM has them. It's usually like a bracket, and it'll say first dash name. So you're going to have their name in the subject line, and in the body, you're just going to ask one question, and this is it. Are you still interested in training in the martial arts? That's it. It's done. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Keep it super simple. Now, you can do this via email, which I would 100% recommend, and there's not going to be a fee typically with that, or you might have a very small incremental fee, depending on how big your customer list is. I know when I sold Gracie Pack, our customer list was over 15,000 people that had opted in, and that's not a list that I went out and bought. These are people that at some point showed interest. Maybe you don't have as big of a list as that. Maybe you have a smaller list. If you do have a large list, even if it's, hundreds and hundreds, or maybe 1,000 to 2,000, one of the things you got to make sure that you do is drip release these emails. And some of the CRMs out there will automatically do this, but if it asks you if you want to send it in batches, you need to make sure you do that, because what the email providers don't like you doing is spamming people. And if you just send out 15,000 emails at once or 1,000 emails at once, it could flag your email and could ultimately shut your email down. So you want to make sure that you batch it out. I typically like about 50 emails and text messages at a time, and then every 5 minutes. So for those of you that do have large lists, you do need to consider that. And you also need to consider the sending times, right? So if you start this at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. and you have a very, very, very large list, you want to make sure that, especially if you're doing text messages, that you're not texting people all the way until 10 o'clock at night, okay? I like doing both the email and the text message for this. Text message would be the exact same thing. Are you still interested in training in the martial arts? But one of the things you got to be careful for if you do this via text is the age of the leads. If your school's been around for 10 years, five plus years, some of these leads might be really, really, really cold. And we don't want to blast text messages out potentially to people whose phone numbers are no longer valid, because that can also flag the phone carriers as well. So similar thing with the texting, you're going to want to batch it out and not send thousands of them, because also if you sent thousands of them at once and you got a huge response to this, would you be able to, do you have enough basically appointment spots on your calendar to fill it up? Okay. So consider the age of the leads, consider when you send it. If it's 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. and that's prime time at the school, and you send these text messages out and you have a bunch of people that are responding, are you going to be able to get back to them? So you want to consider doing it earlier on in the day so you do have plenty of time to respond. This is something every single one of you can do. It's going to take less than 10 minutes. Super simple, no graphics. Send it out to your contact list. I like doing this a minimum of twice a year, minimum. And right now, going into summer is a great time to do that. Okay, so this is called the magic 9-word email. Ramos says seconds if you click all. Exactly. And I hope that, guys, if there's just one takeaway that you do today, this is the lowest possible effort that is required. Okay, so that is the 9-word email. All right, number 2, the 1 hour a day that will keep bankruptcy away. I don't believe most schools have a lead issue, like a quantity of lead issue. I believe the number one challenge in our industry in terms of marketing is unconverted leads. Okay. And because not only have I owned martial arts schools, I've owned coaching companies, I own an agency, I am somebody that looks often to other industries and how they operate. And if you think of the majority of other industries, they have full-on sales teams. And typically there's a sales manager, there's closers, there's appointment setters. Am I suggesting that you build out a full sales team of multiple people in your school? No. But what I am suggesting is taking the concept of they have people that all they do and all they focus on is setting appointments. Now, if you have a program director or a front desk administrator, they're not going to be able to do that for 8 hours a day, right? Especially during prime time. But this concept of if you just took 1 hour a day, that's it, 1 hour a day to do lead follow-up, consistently, not I'm going to make some calls and then check my email. I'm going to make some calls and then post on social media. I'm going to make some calls and I'm going to go tidy up the bathroom. I mean, 1 hour of uninterrupted, focused lead follow-up time a day. What type of appointment calendar would you have? It would be packed. And for some of you, maybe the 1 hour, that's, 1 hour a day, Chris. I don't know. Can we start with 30 minutes? Can we just start with a dedicated time, a dedicated focused block where all we're doing is following up with those leads? And I do believe it should be time blocked into whoever is responsible for this, which would typically be a program director. But, for us, our chief instructor had responsibilities off the mat as well as on the mat. He knows how to make calls. I mean, even our senior instructor and our level 3 instructors know how to do that. Mr. Keffer's asking a great question. What is the best time to dedicate the 1 hour? I would change it up. Absolutely. What we have found for our concierge service, now we only do lead follow-up Monday through Friday. So we don't have data on doing it on Saturday, which I know for us at Gracie Pack, when we did have classes on Saturday and our program director was in, we would book a lot of appointments on Saturday for dates in the following week because people aren't working. They have more time to pick up the phone. But during the week, Monday to Friday, we see the most appointments booked between 9 and noon, and then it starts ramping back up after 3 p.m. So what I would do is I would shift those times. And for most of you, you're probably not even in your school at 9, 10, 11, 12. But here's the thing. All of that could be done remotely if your school operates on a cell phone. Okay. So the other option, if you just don't have the bandwidth, maybe you have a full-time job as well as operating, is doing what I call all hands on deck. So anytime we say all hands on deck, that means everybody on the team is helping. Can you take a Saturday and go all hands on deck and hit up all of your leads from last year? Okay. Could you do that from the last 6 months? Could we just focus on January until now? We go all hands on deck with making calls. We actually call through our CRM, and we can do calls like back to back to back to back like that. You could have somebody that helps to qualify that list, just going through it and making sure you're not reaching out to people that actually signed up, or maybe people you don't want to follow back up with. But it's just a mindset shift of blocking specific time every single day where the only focus is on this. And I truly believe that if every martial arts school focused 1 hour a day on lead follow-up, you would not have any issues booking appointments. You just wouldn't. Great question, Miss Mary. Do you go oldest to newest or newest first? You're going to want to start with your warmest leads. So I would start with the leads, that are closest to today, and then start working backwards towards January. Okay, Chris, I get it. I get the mindset. I get the concept, but what do I say? Well, at Maya, we have the 4 steps of selling. And, oftentimes, and it's smart, right? Creating systems and processes in our school. But the problem with scripts, if you write out a word by word script for your team to follow, they're going to sound scripted. And what I would prefer you help them with is a framework, teaching them a framework that they could use. And we call it the 4 steps of selling. Anytime that we are doing outbound phone calls, reaching out, whether it's to our own students or whether it's to prospects, this is the framework that we use. Number 1 is the reason why we are calling. Okay. Mrs. Johnson, this is Chris at Gracie Pack Martial Arts. The reason why I'm calling is because you requested more information, and you could say whatever the date was. That's step number 1 of the 4 steps of selling. The second step is going to be, you're going to paint the picture. And the reason why I want you to focus on this right now is because I know a lot of you are doing summer trial specials. Let me know in the chat, do you have a summer trial special going on? Yes or no? Like a specific offer that is for summer. Ramos, yes. Petty, yes. All right. For those of you that don't, this is something that you could consider. The reason why I'm calling, and then we go into paint the picture, is that we thought that you might be interested in our summer trial special. And then I'm going to paint the picture of how awesome that summer trial special is. So I know a lot of you are doing the 8-week summer trial special, Train for the Summer. You get 8 weeks of classes. You're going to talk about the benefits of those classes. If there's anything included, like a free introductory one-on-one lesson, maybe they get a uniform, and then whatever the cost is. And it's only $149, or it's only $99. I know some of you are doing, it's only $49, but you are doing earlier class slots, so it doesn't affect your evening class times. And then you're going to add in some urgency and scarcity. Now, we are martial artists. We should have integrity, and I don't want you to just say something just to say it, but you do only have a certain amount of spots on your mat. So if you know that we really could only take about 15 to 20 of these due to the amount of spots that we have on our mat, then you're going to say that. And then you're going to give them the call to action, which, if you prefer to have them come in to do the introductory lesson first before purchasing the trial, we'd love to get you on the schedule. We have availability Thursday at 5 p.m. or Friday at 6, which works better for you. Or if you want to go ahead and ask for the sale, let them know that we can easily take payment over the phone and then book them for their first class. So what I love about the framework is that if you teach your team members to do this, they're not going to sound as scripted. And what I don't want you to do is just say, hey, here's the framework, go have fun. You need to do role playing with this. Okay. So 1 hour a day focusing on lead follow-up. For those of you that said it was slower, I mean, you took an hour to be on this webinar today, so I know you got at least an hour on Wednesdays. Could you do that? Or today's Thursday. Jeez, man, my days are all messed up. I know you got an hour on Thursday. Could we just repeat that? Okay. Strategy number 3 is the fastest way to hit triple-digit reviews. Now, what I want you to understand is the importance of this, that yes, your Google business profile needs to be optimized, but the number one determining factor on your Google business profile ranking are your Google reviews. That is the number one thing you need to focus on with your Google business profile after it has been optimized with keywords. And I said earlier, if somebody is searching on Google for martial arts near me or martial arts in your city, that is what we call a today buyer. You want that. And you want to get the first at bat because it's not just your martial arts school that's going to show up. It's all of your competitors. And the number one determining factor besides the distance is going to be these Google reviews. So to me, if you can hit triple digits, you're going to put yourself in a completely different ball game than everybody else, because most martial arts schools that I see usually have like 10 to 20 reviews. This is one of my clients and really good friend, Pendergrass Academy of Martial Arts. We did a challenge together, I want to say back in 2017. At the time, we both had like 20, 25 Google reviews. They're in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm in Tampa, Florida. And I said, guys, why don't we do this? Why don't we do a challenge where we see who can hit 100 Google reviews the fastest? My school, Gracie Pack, or your school, Pendergrass Academy of Martial Arts. And when you turn it into a challenge and you make announcements to your students that you're actually challenging another martial arts school in a different state to see who's going to hit triple digits first, your students aren't going to want to lose. And literally within a couple of days, both of us hit triple digits reviews. They actually beat me. They hit it before I did, but I was okay with that because to me, I had already won. I got 100 Google reviews. Now, you can do an internal challenge as well, but I just want you to be cautious that Google does have terms of services. There's a bounce house place right next to our jiu-jitsu school, and they have this huge banner inside that says, give us a 5-star Google review and we'll give you a free drink. That's actually against Google's terms of service. You're not supposed to basically bribe people to give you a Google review. Do I think the Google police are going to come knocking on your door? No, but I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't bring that up. Could you potentially do an internal challenge that if we hit 100 Google reviews by the end of this month, we're going to do a pizza party for everybody that left us a Google review? Okay, so you can do an internal challenge or you can do an external challenge. You also need to make it stupid simple for people to be able to give you Google reviews. And COVID, the one kind of interesting thing that came out of COVID that was somewhat of a positive, except when I go to restaurants and they don't have regular menus and they want me to use a QR code, it's like, dude, I don't want to be on my phone anymore. Just give me a paper menu. Is the QR code came back post-COVID. So very easily creating a QR code. However, there are these devices called NFC devices. And this is an example of a stand that has an NFC chip inside of this. And notice there's no QR code. So all the person has to do, and they could have an Android or they can have an Apple phone. All they have to do is take their phone and tap it. And once you tap it, you get a pop-up that pulls up your Google review. You can buy these online for like $5. You do have to program it. It was pretty easy. All you need to do is get your Google review link and you just put it in the app that is connected with this. But this is like super professional, right? They don't even have to open up their camera. They just tap the phone to the NPC device and then it populates. So make it really easy for people to be able to do this for you. QR code works just as well, but an internal challenge, it's not only going to help your Google business rank higher. It is, I mean, when you guys go to purchase something on Amazon, where do you scroll down when you're looking at whether you're going to purchase it? you're going down to the reviews. You want to see what other people are saying. Okay. So these are the best online leads you can get. So why don't we do something in terms of being able to, what happened to my Canva? Being able to get more of them. All right. Let me go back to sharing the screen, and we're going to go to our next strategy. All right. Creative way to boost revenue this summer that takes 5 minutes to set up. This was the one that I said, if you know how to use Canva, this will take you 5 minutes. Our friends over at Maya Edge, this is actually, if you're a Maya Edge client, this is exactly what it looks like. All you got to go in and do is just edit the pricing. Most of you hopefully are already selling private lesson packages. It's insane what happens to our customers' mindset when you simply just put the word summer in front of it. And depending on your current price points for your private lesson packages, that could determine how much you're going to charge for this. Here's an example over here on the right-hand side of just private lesson packages in general, right? If you do 1 lesson, it's $50, 10 lessons, $450, 20 lessons, $800, 50 lessons, $1,500. And the more they buy, the cheaper the individual lesson is. So that's an example of just like how you can package your private lessons. But if we say it's a summer private lesson package, we can then sell them throughout an 8-week course, basically. And you can theme it. So if they wanted to do sparring or they wanted to do weapons, you could have curriculum. And they could choose, all right, we're going to do 8 weeks of private lessons just on sparring or just on drilling or just on, if you're a jiu-jitsu school, it could be guard. It could be wrestling takedowns. It could be submissions. Or they can choose a combo and they could be doing a little bit of all of it. All you're doing, guys, is repackaging and presenting private lessons in a slightly different way. And what I don't want you to think is like, Chris, we're already, 2 weeks in December. Okay, well then sell it for 6 weeks or sell it for 4 weeks, okay, if you're a little bit behind. But all you have to do is create a flyer. And now you start making announcements and, depending on your bandwidth and capacity and your instructors, maybe you only want to sell a handful of these. But this is a very, very quick way for you to instantly increase your revenue this summer. This is probably one of my favorite because when I became an offsite owner and I wasn't on the schedule teaching, I would come in for special events and run some of the special events. And this was my absolute favorite special event that we ran. It took 2 hours of my time and we would make $2,000. It's $1,000 an hour. I mean, that is a great return on time, if you ask me. And for some reason, especially if you are in the jiu-jitsu world, like jiu-jitsu people think that when you do seminars, you have to bring in some like big name. Like, first of all, if you're doing that, you are probably losing money because those big names have a flat fee. I know so many BJJ schools that lose so much money for seminars bringing people in, and their justification, oh, it's a retention strategy. It's like, yeah, but I don't want that to negatively affect your bottom line. What I love about this is that it's not a camp. It's just a 2-hour seminar. If you wanted to do 3, you could do 3. So 2 to 3 hours. And we theme it. And we do this once per quarter. Once per quarter. So $8,000 a year just from this one event. So in this particular event, we did half guard, attack, and defenses. We have some half guard curriculum for our kids, but we don't have a ton. So it allowed us to show them moves that they wouldn't normally see with their regular curriculum. And we tell them it's called a challenge seminar because it's going to be hard. Like, we push them. And we at first would only invite our masters and elite. So these are like, so we have a basic program, an elite program, and a master's club program. And we would just invite elite and masters because it's just a higher level of training. And we would offer a prize for anybody that completed the challenge, which I think there was only one time we had a kid that couldn't complete it, and it's because he had a previous injury. But 40 students at $50, that's $2,000. That's what we cap it at. We can fit 40 students safely on our mat. The prize are typically items we have left over from our holiday event, such as dog tags, keychains. We'll do like little wristbands, just kind of small swag items. And don't discredit how much kids absolutely love that. So guys, you can absolutely get this on your calendar, even if you only had 20 people come. That's $1,000 for 2 hours. If that was your effective hourly rate, meaning if you got paid $1,000 for every hour you worked, that'd be pretty cool. Doesn't require a lot of work. All you got to do is make the flyer, make the announcements. Okay. So 2 hours to add $2,000 to your bottom line. Super simple. And you can do this once a quarter, but you can absolutely do it during the summer. Okay. The alumni challenge. Let me know in the chat. Do you do mass intros? Yes or no? Mass intros. Do you do mass intros? Yes or no? And if you don't know what a mass intro is, maybe you just say don't know. Oh, wow. Lots of no's. Okay. So mass introductory lessons, that's kitchen talk. That's what we internally call it. Externally, it's a community event where you invite a group of people to your school. You do a fun, energetic class. And at the end of it, you pitch them and you give them an incentive to sign them up on that day, right? Much more efficient than doing one-on-one introductory lessons, because you can we recommend no more than 24 people in a mass intro, but you could pitch up to 24 people at a time. And this is a Maya system that we implemented very successfully into our school. And throughout the year, there are different themes that work really well. Like, in the beginning of the year, goal setting through board breaking works really well. When it is like back to school season, focus for better grades. October, we usually do like a rise above bullying because it's bully awareness. Going into the summer, we would usually do like stranger awareness because the kids are, going to places that they normally don't go. One of the pieces of low-hanging fruit that every single one of us has in our school are former students. And if you are utilizing your CRM properly and utilizing tags, so anytime somebody cancels, they either get a cancellation tag or they get a former student tag, it's very easy for you to run a list of all of the former students. My suggestion to you is to invite all of your former students into a community event, and the offer can be your summer special that we talked about earlier so they can get back in the swing of things. I haven't heard of any schools that have done a reactivation campaign like a mass intro for former students. I know a lot of schools will send like "we miss you" cards, or they'll send emails out saying like, "hey, we'll wipe your balance clean if you want to come back." But this is a really great way of inviting all of your former students back for a fun class. Worst case scenario, you just put some, positive energy into their life. They're thinking about you. You're keeping that relationship. Hey, maybe that, student now has a younger sibling that the parents might be interested in bringing in. And it's going to be a great way for you to sell more of your summer specials as well. So this is the alumni challenge. Next up, 45 minutes. Y'all got 45 minutes to increase student and lifetime value. If you have upgrade programs, which I hope you do have upgrade programs. If you don't have upgrade programs, I believe you should. There is a right way to do an upgrade program and a wrong way to do an upgrade program. Wrong way is forcing somebody to upgrade in order to obtain their black belt. Okay? Don't think that's right. You're basically signing people up at one price point and saying, hey, if you want to continue to get your black belt, you got to pay us more. Okay. That's the wrong way. There is a right way to do it. All of us, the last 6 months, have students that you nominated to that upgrade program that did not enroll into whatever your upgrade program is. Like I said, we have basic, elite, and masters. I know a lot of schools have basic, black belt, club, and masters, or ultimate. And all you're going to do is invite everybody that did not enroll into the upgrade program to this class. It's going to be a showcase class. So you're going to showcase what the upgrade program looks like. It should be high energy. It should be fun. And then you're going to pitch them at the end and offer some form of an incentive for them to enroll today. If you're following the Maya system, there's going to be that initial installment, that down payment of $249 or $349, or you have the paid in full option. So you can incentivize them by taking some off of that initial installment, or if you wanted to do a slight percentage off of the equipment package, because they're going to have to purchase an equipment package. Right now, going into summer is a great time to offer this. You can call it a level up this summer. If you want to, do like an elite showcase or black belt club showcase, all you got to do is go through the list of everybody that you nominated that you did not upgrade and do this. We do this every year and we always get upgrades from it. And this goes back to the whole, we got to get students, we got to increase their student value, their lifetime value. And that's what upgrade programs do. They increase the lifetime value and the student value of your students. This is how there are schools out there that have 150 students and they make more revenue than schools that have 250 students. And I see it all the time. It's because the schools that focus on the student value and increasing it ultimately increase their revenue. Next up, the brand ambassador program. This is something I'm really proud of because I haven't heard anybody else in our industry talk about this, and I've been talking about it for a while. I think we'd all agree referrals are the best types of leads that we can get. We want more referrals. Many of you were able to grow to a pretty decent student base just off of word of mouth and referrals. Well, I wanted to create a system of being able to turn parents into literal walking billboards of my school. And that's when I came up with the brand ambassador program. This is one of my clients, Josh Smith. He actually implemented it in his school, Hero Martial Arts. And you can pick whatever you want the items to be in order to become a brand ambassador. You got to leave a Google review. You got to leave a Facebook recommendation. You got to do a check-in on social media and like post and tag us. And then a referral. So you got to refer somebody. And if you do all 4 of those, we give you a brand ambassador t-shirt. And this was the logo. Josh asked me for it. I gave it to him. I had no problem. So this is the actual t-shirt. And we hang them in the pro shop because what happens is you'll have parents that say, oh, like, hey, I'd love to buy that shirt up there that says brand ambassador. Can I buy that? And it starts the conversation of, it's actually free. Let me tell you how I can give you this shirt for free. All you got to do is go on Google. It's going to help you increase your Google. Them posting and checking in and tagging you on social media. Now, all of their friends are going to see it. Them referring you helps the school. So this is our brand ambassador program that we implemented to help us consistently generate more leads. And on top of the shirt, we do 2 graduations a year. We do it in the middle of the summer and at the end of the summer. We actually presented them with a small plaque. We get them at Crown Awards. They're like $10 each. I mean, very cost effective. And we put their name on it and it has the Gracie Pack logo and it says brand ambassador and has the year. And we present that to them in front of everybody at the graduation, which starts the conversation again about the brand ambassador program. If you wanted to have maybe a plaque that stays up in the school and you can just add people's names, you could also do that. But there's not a lot of work that is required. Like, all you have to do is create the flyer about this and start making announcements and order some t-shirts. And you will now have a brand ambassador program that people are already happy to refer. If you have a great service, they're already happy to refer people to the school. But now you can incentivize them and reward them for doing it. Okay. Super simple program to launch. I get asked often, like, Chris, how do you track this? We just tell the parent, like, obviously when they refer somebody, we're going to know. We have that in our intake. We also, when somebody gets to refer, they get to spin a wheel, a prize wheel. And we do that during our mat chat. But we just let the parents know, let us know once you've done all 4 of these, and then we can go in and check and see if they did a Google review and a Facebook recommendation. If you wanted to start tracking this like via a spreadsheet, you could, but the parents always came to us and let us know like, hey, we did all 4. Can we get our brand ambassador t-shirt? And then we would just go back and check. Okay. All right. Deal of the day or the week. We all have merch. Most of us aren't pushing, bundling, and packaging the merch in the best way possible. Can you do a deal of the day? Can you do a deal of the week? Maybe you do this for 4 weeks throughout the summer where you pick a specific item each week that you're trying to push. Maybe you still have hoodies left over from your holiday event and it's kind of hot out. So, hey, we can give a slight discount on these, okay? What most people have in their school is just a pro shop that takes up space. What they're not doing is integrated sales with the merchandise and retail items inside of the school. Another thing that you could consider with these deal of the week or deal of the days where you're pushing specific items is you could also sell gently used equipment. Maybe it's time that you want to replace some of your punch mitts or your tie pads or your kicking shields. We recently did this with jujitsu dummies. We ended up buying a full class set of jujitsu dummies during COVID when the kids were able to come back to class. And instead of using partners, we used jujitsu dummies. So we had like 40 of these jujitsu dummies and they take a lot of space. And it was like, guys, we're not really using this. We would use them for our 3 and 4-year-old class. They're really great for the tiny ninjas. But let's just go ahead and, let's push the sale of this specific item. And we sold all of them. People were happy to take them. So consider throughout the summer, maybe you have one item that you push a week. And when we do this, we will typically have the chief instructor, if it's a t-shirt we're trying to push or a tank top or a hat, we'll have them wear that throughout the week because the kids want to be just like their instructor. So super simple to do, guys. You already have the inventory in there. Can we put together some flyers, bundle together some pro shop to clear that out and also make room for maybe some of our back to school stuff? Last one, number 10. Christmas in July. When I first heard the concept of the holiday event, I was, a little dumbfounded that people in 4 hours could make 20, 30, 40, 50. I mean, there are Maya clients that have made over $200,000 in 4 hours. That is not an exaggeration, okay? And it's something that we typically do at the end of the year during Christmas. It's our holiday event. But one of the things that we started doing is doing a Christmas in July. And what a Christmas in July event is, it's a discount off of a paid in full program. Now, what you want to make sure is that if you also do a holiday event, that the discount isn't as good, or the bonuses that they're going to get at the Christmas in July is as good as the holiday event. And there's not a ton of marketing that we are doing outside of just putting up posters and creating lists of people that we think might be interested. If you have students in the past that have done a paid in full, if they're happy with their training, more than likely when it's time for them to renew or upgrade, they're going to want to do another paid in full. And when we go after that list of people, it doesn't affect our billing check. Because what we don't want to do is, let's say you have a billing check of $20,000 tuition that comes in every month. We don't want to take that and drop that down to 12. So there's a very systematic way to do this and target the people that are, have done paid in fulls in the past, or maybe you've recently nominated them and want to upgrade them. And all our team focuses on is just booking appointments and asking the parents if they want to learn how they can save money on their programs. This is not some form of like strong, twisting somebody's arm, to sell them. It's just, hey, would you like to hear about how we can actually save you more money on your programs? And then you're going to go through the different options, whether you want to charge a 12-month program with a 25% discount, if you want to do an 18-month, 24-month, 36-month. This is obviously dependent on how you have your programs currently set up. But there are a lot of schools that do this and do this very, very well. And July actually ends up being their second highest revenue month, only behind December. So Christmas in July, all this is really going to take is for you to sit down and, look at your student list, look at the people that have paid in fulls in the past, create that list, reach out to them to book an appointment and just ask them if they want to learn how they can save money. You can also do the tie in your discounts on your retail during Christmas in July as well. Unlike the holiday event where it's a one-day event for 4 hours, with your Christmas in July, you can do an entire week or you could do an entire month. I know there are a lot of schools that end up closing for that July 4th week, so you also would need to take that into consideration. But this is a very low effort. Like, when I kind of think of like the holiday event, there's a lot that goes into the holiday event, especially with orders for Christmas presents, right? A lot of our students will end up purchasing, t-shirts and hoodies and spats and shorts and all of those things because they want to gift them to other people. And because of that, there's a lot of effort required in coming up with the designs, ordering them, having to figure out how many sizes do we want of each? Is it going to get here in time? So the holiday event requires a lot higher effort. It has a huge payout. But the Christmas in July, really, the focus would be on just selling the current merchandise that you have and then booking appointments with people that you think might want to take advantage of a paid in full option. So very low effort compared to the holiday event. So these are the 10 strategies. Send the magic email, and I'm going to ask you to get in the chat on which one you're committing to doing. Send the magic email, hit your unconverted lead list, the Google Review Challenge, summer private lesson packages, the challenge seminar, the alumni challenge, the summer upgrade mass intro, launching a brand ambassador program, deal of the day, or Christmas in July. I'd love to know which one are you committing to do, because being on this webinar is being in motion, which is great, but we've got to take action. So out of those 10, read through it. Let me know which one you're going to do. Magic email will only take 10 minutes. Summer private lesson packages. Great. Is there a risk of overload if you start offering all of this when you aren't doing most of this now? Well, I mean, I would never tell you. Great question, Mr. Keffer. I wouldn't tell you to try to do all 10. I think you're going to set yourself up for failure. Like the magic email takes 10 minutes. Like that's, to me, you can do the magic email and you could do another one of these things. In terms of like what initially is client facing, the Google Review Challenge, that's going to be customer facing. The private lesson package, the challenge seminar, alumni challenge is former students, so that's not going to be student facing. The upgrade, and the upgrades are only going to be for a specific group of people. It's just going to be nominations, right? The brand ambassador is for the parents, deal of the day. So I don't think you should try to implement all 10, but offering a challenge seminar and summer private lesson packages at the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong with that because you're offering value in every single one of these, okay? Send the magic email, 3-digit Google reviews, magic email, awesome. Reactivate mass intro, great. Summer private lesson, awesome. I love it. Very good, guys. Will there be a recording sent out? Yes, we will. Before the end of day, my amazing digital marketing director, Emily, will send out the slides as well as the recording. Awesome. All right. I got 6 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions on these 10 simple strategies or just really, anything in general of, operating a martial arts school? We could also do dating advice, marriage advice, do some fitness advice. Any questions? Where do you get t-shirts designed? Yeah, awesome. We use a company called 99designs.com. So what's really cool is 99 Designs, you basically set up a brief and you let them know, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a t-shirt design. I'm looking for a logo. And you give them just kind of description of the vibe that you're looking for. And they also have all of these examples of different designs, and you basically can vote like, yes, I like this one. No, I don't like that one. Yes, I like this one. And what they do is they pitch this out to like thousands and thousands of designers. And the first round, you have designers submit their designs, and you can give feedback. They have a rating like 1 to 5. You can tell them, hey, I like this part. I didn't like this part. And then you choose, I think it's up to like 5 finalists for the second round. And then you can get them to get like even more detailed with the changes. And then you pick a winner. What is really neat about this is that you're going to get a ton of different options from all of these different designers, which will help you with future designs as well. They have different price points depending on what you're looking for. Typically, I think it's like $199 to $199 to $299. The other way is you could use something like Fiverr.com is one. You could also use Upwork.com. And these are basically where you find freelancers. The only downside to this is you're going to hire the freelancer based off of their, portfolio, but you're only going to get one design from them. So that's why I prefer 99 designs, because I'm getting literally, in some cases, I've got hundreds of designs in the past. So that's where we get that. Hopefully that answers your question. Where do you get the Google NFC device? I think we bought it in bulk because it's actually something we are going to put in our new client packet. We got it off Alibaba, I believe. But I think Amazon has. Yeah, you can get them. Yeah, you can get them on Amazon. They're a little bit more expensive. But yes, you can get them on Amazon. If you're calling your lead list, what do you do with no answers? Call back right away. Leave a voicemail. Don't leave a message, but call back later. Great question, Mr. Sweeney. Double dialing is going to get the most pickups. So calling them, if they don't pick up, calling again. I think some people have hesitation in doing that. I mean, how do you feel when somebody double calls you and it's like not urgent, right? Because like if somebody's calling you twice in a row, you're like, oh man, this must be really urgent. Double dialing is definitely going to help you increase the answers. The other thing is sending a text message beforehand, letting them know that you're going to call is another way to increase the pickups as well, especially if this is a lead that you hadn't talked to in a while, or maybe you never sent a text message. If I do leave a voicemail, I always leave an out. And what I mean by that is I always let them know, hey, if you don't have time to give me a call back, no worries. I'm going to try you again tomorrow. And the reason why I say that is because if I call them and leave a voicemail and ask them to call me back, and then I call again and they didn't end up calling me back, they feel bad. So they're not going to pick up the phone again because they're like, oh, I owed this person a phone call. So I always give them an out on the voicemail. Hey, no big deal. If you can't get back to me, I'll try you again tomorrow. So hopefully that answers for you. Okay. On the note of summer retention, we're doing summer themed weeks. They're all free or cheap for our cost, but the kids are having a blast. Yes, Dad's Week. I love it. We do a Father's Day event where the dads get to earn their camo belt. That's on Saturday. Chalk the sidewalk, dodgeball week, color the mirror, bounce house. Yeah, and what I love is, like you said, there's very, very low cost or they're free. Great share, Miss Locke. Thank you. What's your opinion on having staff leave Google reviews? It seems disingenuous to me, but if prospects don't view it that way, I may consider it. I don't think it's disingenuous if it's a review that came from their heart. And, I wouldn't ask them to pretend like they're somebody that they're not. But if I was looking at a martial arts school and I saw the instructor, put like, man, absolutely love working here. I've been here for years. They treat me like family. Like, I think that's only a positive thing. Should I send January, February magic emails in X amount of minutes, then do March, April, not to get kicked out of Gmail? As long as you batch it and separate it. I mean, I sent 4,000 emails yesterday for the US Open, batched it in 50 every 10 minutes. No problem. So you just got to make sure it's batched. Awesome. Mr. Joe. Yes, sir. Mr. Costa. How we doing, sir?
Good. Quick question, and I'm not even, I mean, if you can answer, that'd be great. Or if it's not even a problem, you can say that too. I'm noticing like when I do my emails, I got a lot of people in the past that have unsubscribed. Is there an easy way for me to, like you said, we're sending 50 of them, but I didn't notice that 30 of them already unsubscribed, so really none of them went out. Is there a way to filter unsubscribe? Because our email list might be as large as we think they are, but if they unsubscribe, they're not really anything anymore.
Well, your CRM should automatically remove them from the list if they unsubscribe. So it's like DND, so they should not be getting emailed. So that's number one. Number two is I don't care if people unsubscribe. It's not a big deal. I mean, honestly, I've been on like an unsubscription kick lately, trying to make sure I'm unsubscribing to anything that's no longer relevant to me. Like yesterday, Combat Sports sent me an email. We used to order retail. I don't own a martial arts school anymore. It's not relevant to me anymore, right? Maybe the parent opted in when their, teenager was 16 and now they're 18 and they're out of the house. It's not relevant to them anymore. So not concerned about it. I mean, if you're sending 50 emails and 30 people are unsubscribing, I would potentially consider where did those emails come from, because that's going to flag. I mean, that's more than 50% unsubscribing. That's definitely going to flag the email list, which is why, maybe you have emails from 10 years ago. Don't send those out, right? Focus on the newer within like the last year. That's what I would focus on.
But I won't know which ones are unsubscribed unless I look at each one of them. Like that, I think that was part of my question was like, how do I know unless I look at each one of them? I can see it in red. It says unsubscribed.
So
How
depending on
is
the
it
CRM that you're using, they have
Spark?
reports that, yeah. So
Okay.
Spark should have a report when you do a blast email that you can see how many were successful, how many bounced, and then how many unsubscribed.
Okay. But it won't tell me ahead of time.
No, it's not going to tell you ahead of time.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Cool. All right, guys. I hope everybody has a beautiful rest of your day. We are literally halfway through the year, which is crazy to me. Please commit to just doing one of these. That's all you need to do. You don't need to try to do all 10. Commit to one. Take action. We put the time aside. Let's make sure that it pays off. Appreciate everybody's time, energy, and attention. And I'll see you guys soon. My Maya people, I'll see you at MayaCon. Bye, guys.